Hi everyone, and welcome to Learn to Crochet with Rich Textures Crochet. I'm Sarah, and I am so glad that you're here and that you're interested in learning how to crochet. Today I am going to be teaching you how to do a chain stitch and how to make a foundation chain. If you are familiar with knitting, you will know the term to cast on, which simply put is to simply put a number of loops along your knitting needle. Well, in crochet, we only work with one stitch at a time, and so we make a foundation chain. Your foundation chain would be the equivalent of casting on to a knitting needle. So today we're going to learn how to make that foundation chain. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to make a slip knot. If you have not or are unfamiliar with how to make a slip knot, I have completed a tutorial which will go through step by step on how you can make your own. Today I'll make one there slowly for you, but I go through in more detail how to make a slip knot in the tutorial that is linked in the notes. Okay, so what you'll do is you'll start by making your slip knot. I fold the yarn over, I simply cross it, I reach through, and I grab the yarn end that is attached to my ball of yarn, and I pull it through. And then I'm going to pull until there is a not too tight, but a knot there. And this knot should slide easily along your yarn. Okay, you will then put that slip knot and this loop onto your crochet hook. Just slide your slip knot so that it is snug, but not too snug. You want to be able to move the hook in and out through that loop, but you don't want it to be so loose that your hook is just going to fall out. Okay, so this is my slip knot on my crochet hook. You're going to hold, if you are right-handed, hold your yarn in your left hand and your hook in your right hand. And sometimes what I like to do is I like to hold my slip knot along my hook just with a couple of my fingers, my middle finger there and my thumb, just to kind of keep it in place. What you're going to do first is you're going to wrap your yarn over the top of your hook, just like that. You are then going to pull your hook slowly down through that slip knot loop that you had, just like that, and then pull through, and then loosen that loop a little bit. And that is your first chain stitch. It's pretty simple, wasn't it? I'll show you again. So holding I like to hold my yarn here between my middle finger and my thumb. You're going to take your yarn, wrap it over, lay it over top of your crochet hook, bring your crochet hook down and through the loop, grabbing hold of that yarn and pull up. And that's 2 chain stitches. And for a foundation chain or in a crochet pattern, at the beginning you might see something like a CH25, and that stands for chain 25. The number varies depending on the pattern, but that's how many stitches that they would like in your foundation chain. I'm going to show you just a few more. So you're going to hold on to your work there, take your yarn, lay it over top of your crochet hook, and then pull through that loop and pull the loop up, just like that. And we will do a few more. Now, just a couple of comments as far as things to be aware of. At first, it is going to feel very, very awkward, but don't worry, as you get more and more practice making these chain stitches, it will feel less awkward and become more and more natural to you. Just remember that you're just starting out and your fingers and hands are getting used to coordinating in the way that they need to. So it might just take some time. The other thing you want to be aware of when you are making a chain stitch is you're going to want each of your chains to be relatively the same, have the same tension, or to be all the same tightness or looseness. Again, you don't want them to be too loose and you don't want them to be too tight, because if this is a foundation chain, you will be working back into it. It will form the foundation for your work to follow. So we're going to take just a little bit of a closer look here at this foundation chain. So you see on one side of your chain, you see these little V's. I'm just going to take my hook out there so I can point them out easier to you. You'll see these little V's. It looks like it's braided almost. And then if you flip your chain over, you will see that each V has a coordinating bump. Now when I crochet on my foundation chain, these little bumps are what I like to work in. But in our next session, when we look at how to make a single crochet, I will go more into detail with it. Now if you are making a chain and you lose track and you need to count how many chains you have made, you can go back, and what you're simply going to do is just count these little V's. So each V or each bump is one chain stitch. So if I take a look here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 chain stitches. You do not count your slip knot at the beginning, nor do you count your working loop. It is only the chain stitches that you have on there. I'm going to do just a few more for you so that you can see it again in slow motion. So you have your finger and your thumb holding on to your foundation chain. You have the yarn kind of pulled through here. I went over holding my hook and my yarn again in the previous lesson. You're going to take your yarn and you're going to lay it over the top of your crochet hook. You're going to bring your crochet hook down and you're going to pull it through that loop and then pull up your new loop just a little bit. Lay the yarn over top of your crochet hook. Bring your crochet hook down and through the loop and pull up your new loop. You lay it over and pull through. And again, as you get more and more comfortable with the chain stitch, then you'll find your stitches become even and you're able to make your chain stitches quite a bit faster and without thinking about it. So there you go. That is all there is to making a chain and a foundation chain. One final note that I forgot to mention. Now at the beginning of your pattern, you will have this chain 25 or whatever it is that will form your foundation chain that you will work into. Now anytime during your pattern, it could actually ask you to chain 1 or chain 3. That just goes to show you that yes, it can be a foundation chain, but chain stitches are used throughout your crochet work and they can be used to make fun textures and designs and more complex stitches. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me for this session of Learn to Crochet with Rich Textures Crochet, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Have fun practicing those chain stitches. Happy crocheting. Bye.